You. Yo, what's up? How's everybody doing, man? Hassan, what's up, man? Thanks there. Wesley, Brava, DRNO, Doge, Speed, Matthew, Kyrie, what's up, man? Cardi Play, K Mets, Brandon, Zombie, what's up, man? Yeah, this will be just a live. I like doing lives a little bit better when explaining myself. I will be posting a lot more videos in the future as well, but I think just to really cover everything that's in my mind here about the cycle, because there's a lot of things happening that are really going to affect this next run. A lot of different things that are playing out, and there's just too much to cover here. I really did want to make a live about this. Way too much to cover, man. Way too much. So yeah, I'll wait for a couple of you to get in here, and then I'll start here. All right, Steve, how you doing, man? Richard, Matt, Joey. Zombie, what's up, man? Like Throne. Aldo, what's up? Nana, what are you doing? What is up? I'm doing great, guys. I'm doing great. Just chilling here, man. It's Sunday afternoon. Jose, what's up? Kaiser. Nick. Alrighty, guys. Let's start here. So the one thing I want to just say right off the bat is August POI has played out. Right now, there's no lingering effect based on the POI. The POI is set. We do have a very similar scenario that we had back here in March. So that has played out, and now we move on to the next POI, because I think the next POI is what's going to trigger this massive run, or potentially the squeeze. Okay. Either way, I do see things moving up here. Trajectory is changing. Okay. We do have that curve. I'm going to bring up the first thing I'm going to bring up is the quad witching cycle here, so you guys can see how things are changing. And this is just very basic TA here. Using TA, this curve line with what are options, right? These are quad witching dates, expiration dates, and you can see that the curve line here on the high price at close is starting to curl back up. So this is a next quad witching date here that we have in September. All right, you can see it's starting to curl back up, and this is really good for AMC. This also goes with the year-long resistance trend line. This one is also very bullish for AMC now that we have crossed it and it's been confirmed. And what is happening right now is AMC is gravitating back down here. I don't believe that we are going to get a retest all the way back down here. I don't think we're going to do that. If we do, then that is going to affect this cycle in a negative way. So I don't see that happening here. What is going on though is this is a giant shake off sort of phase that's going on here. to meet with this next POI that we have in October, right? Early October. Why? This is a very similar setup to what GameStop experienced. When GameStop hit a bottom, all right, it made this broadening wedge, okay, before it couldn't take that volume anymore. So it was coming up and down. And I have it right here for you guys. I'm going to pull it up here. These are the little squeeze candidates. All right, this is GameStop. All right, you can see that the setup is very similar. Okay, except AMC is a lot more compressed. There's a lot more compression going on here. Okay, but you can see that it's climbing and it's respecting that level of support. And that's what we want here, is we just want to respect that until we get to a point where these guys can't really control this volume anymore. So this is one thing I'm looking at here. I do see us for the week. I do see us curling back up. Okay, one way or another, whatever happens here with this ape dividend is I don't believe is going to affect the price like in a negative way or anything. I think the cycle, remember, is put in place regardless of what these catalysts do. In the end, this is going to follow a cycle until it can't anymore, and that is when the volume comes in and breaks the cycle. So that is the opportunity that we have here, that retail has to break the cycle, is going to be an inflow in volume that the algorithm can't suppress. All right. So with that, guys, let's also talk about. Let's bring up the cycle here real quick. So we know that the next POI is up here early October, late September, early October. And let's pull up a couple of patterns here. So we're going to do a quick just pattern analysis, and then we'll talk about why I see this thing just exploding. It's going to be very, very, very cool stuff. Here, let's go to the 3 hour. Love the 3 hour, man. All right, so the first one I'm going to pull up. Yo, where you at? Here we go, squeeze candidates. All right, so the first one, very simple setup. We've seen this happen on every time frame here, but I'm gonna show it on this one here. So Bitcoin. All right, we know this crown pattern that Bitcoin plays out. Okay, it's a triple top. Okay, before taking a breather and coming back down. This one, you can see it's very similar, and then it curls back up before coming back down, and then here is where we have a POI. Now, this pattern, guys, remember fractals, when you do shift them, when you make them larger or make them smaller, the POIs will play out inverse at some point, so it will fail at some point. Now, this is one of the, this is a situation where I think this POI, which happens to be downside for Bitcoin, would play out inverse when? End of September, going into October. All right. So now what we have here is we're creating a larger projector pattern. It doesn't have to look this way, right? It could look a little bit like this, you know, and then set up here for the end of October. But you see these POIs lining up. These POIs are just zones of volatility, so where there's inflow and volume. And typically you're going to see a similar setup, a similar pattern, but it might call for, you know, larger price levels, which in this case I do see that happening. I actually see AMC reaching probably the $30, $36, $35 level right around this range here in September. Okay, so that's one. We also have a couple of other ones here. So let's pull up right here. This one is going to be based on the volume cycle that we talked about. So I'll pull that up here real quick. I know I'm getting kind of talking about everything here, but if you guys haven't watched this video, the volume cycle video, it's crucial you do that before I go over this, because it's a lot to cover. But this is the 120-day cycle that we applied back here. How the March run-up was predicted was using the 120-day cycle. And this was basically a copy-paste scenario that we used for this run as well. And we saw that happening here with Ethereum Classic. So Ethereum Classic showed the way first, and we saw AMC go up, right? So, and you can see here with this, For example, the blue portion, right, comes down about 47%, takes 21 days, and then you see the exact same cycle inverse back here. 49% up, 21 days, and also the volume, guys. Volume is very important. 829 million, 731 million. So very similar in volume, and you see that happening with these larger pieces too, right? But what's happening here is we're actually merging on to a bigger cycle, because if we're gonna go right beyond this 150 range, based on fibs, is actually going to be the 260 if we do have another cycle. If we're doing that, we're going to get a merge into what is this bigger cycle. So now you're going to have an extension here in these patterns. So we're not, this isn't going to last, what happened back here, 9 days. We're at 21 right now with the same volume, 857 million, 852 million. Okay, so this one's bigger. We still go up the same percentage, so 100%, 100% right here. Same percentage. But now we are merging cycles, and that's exactly what happened back here. This is where cycles merged. And this is where the cycle starts, the 62-day cycle, right here. Okay, on the projector pattern. So if this is the next projector, which I believe it is, then we would have a new cycle start right here. This is where the new cycle starts. All right. And this is kind of the setup that I have here laid out for what I believe is going to happen based on these events, right? So I've already said a lot there. I'm going to talk about this next thing here. This is a this tool right here. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the percentages here or anything like that, because I don't think that's relevant here. I just want to compare Bed Bath & Beyond with BlackBerry, okay? I think that what is happening right now is Bed Bath & Beyond just did what BlackBerry did before the January run-up. The January run-up that took place where GameStop went all the way to 500. I believe that BlackBerry, and BlackBerry is a lot more suppressed, guys, a lot more diluted, so it takes a lot more for BlackBerry to run, $3 versus Bed Bath & Beyond, okay? So this is why, the percentages here aren't necessarily important. It's just the run that we had. It was a pump and then a dump, right? Then it took about a month of consolidation here before running the entire market, all these meme stocks. So I wanna compare this here with the current setup. Why I think Bed Bath & Beyond is kind of doing this here, because I believe these go one by one. Okay, they do rotate one by one. They can't pump them all at the same time, and they use them against each other for leverage. Okay, we see this with crypto. We see this with meme stocks. We see this in the entire market here. Okay, so I'm going to take this pattern here, right here on this POI, and we're going to line it up. We're going to line it up when Bed Bath & Beyond just fell right here on this range to where AMC fell. I'm just going to stretch this pattern up here so you can kind of see everything, right? I'm not changing the time frame or anything. I'm just changing the height. And what do we have? Right? We have them both falling right here. We have POIs lining up together. This is going to be the rise, POI, sideways pressure, and then short. Okay? And this is when we have Bed Bath & Beyond coming down. Very similar setup to what BlackBerry did back here before running and coming back up. So I do think that BlackBerry's, or really Bed Bath & Beyond, is going to go up as well with these other stocks, but I think it's leading in this cycle that we have right now. I think Bed Bath & Beyond is leading. So why is this relevant here? This is just another piece to the puzzle. All these other factors that we've already talked about. Why is this relevant? It's relevant because this also lines up with early October, late September POI. Okay, so all these patterns, guys, they're just lining up. They keep lining up with what is this next point of interest. Okay, this is just one. Another thing to talk about. So we'll take that out now. I'm trying to make this video as quick as I can, because I know some people are going to watch this later. and I don't want to have like a 2-hour long video, you know. I want to make sure I cover everything here. All right, so the next thing now that we have is going to be, and I'm going to pull it up right where you at. Okay, the final squeeze polyline that I have created based on this entire setup. So based on everything that I have looked at, and this has to do with just an entire cycle analysis approach, the whole market. I'm not going to get too deep into it because there's so much, again, guys, to cover here. But this would be the final setup that I have here based on AMC's current state, right? Us coming back down here. The only way something like this would play out is, and guys, this is only taking into account the possibility of us not breaking the cycle. Doesn't mean that we will or that we won't. All this is saying is this is looking at it from a cycle analysis approach. So fib levels here, and I'm not gonna have a price target or anything for the next run because no one's gonna be able to tell you where it's gonna go, especially if we squeeze. The only other thing we can track are fib levels, and that is if they're able to stop this next run. Okay, that's the only way. So what this would do, and this is a very similar setup to all these other patterns that we talked about. So these are the little squeeze candidates here. I'm going to take this out for a minute. Here's AMC May of 2021. And what do we have, right? We have this setup right back here. You just stretch it all the way up right here. And paste it right over here. It's the same thing. All right, and what this is showing you is that we are dealing with higher, larger price levels. So it's easier to look at something like this and be like, wow, this looks so clean, like respecting all these levels. We were in a pennant, we broke out, projector pattern, and this thing went. But when you're reaching higher prices, guys, this is going to take a little bit longer because, and that's the thing that sucks. Once you reach a certain level, it takes time for things to start curling back up. These guys are going to use technicals to their advantage, and they're going to manipulate the price action using technicals to trick you and me. Okay, this is why I think technicals are extremely hard to figure out because they don't always play out how they're intended to. A pattern could change from a wedge to a double bottom to a cup and handle to a million patterns if you're just stretching the time as you come by, right? We've talked about how important that is. All right, so this is what that would look like. And again, going back to the first point here, this is the Gamestop setup prior to it going up. And you can see the similarities here. It's, Gamestop is just slowly rising up. Can't stop, all this volume coming in. And it had the same thing here, guys. It's just shaking off people as you're coming up and down. Okay, so they've done it before. It's not going to stop them from doing it again. Let's zoom in back here. How many times did they shake people off here? Okay, this took 120 days. A lot shorter of a time frame, but you have the same situation right here. Wow, we're gonna squeeze, guys. Nope. A little bit more time. Whoa, we're gonna squeeze. Nope. Whoa, we're gonna squeeze. Nope. And then boom, it goes, right? How many levels were broken here? Okay, there's many levels that were broken, and that is completely fine. Okay. That is completely fine. And right now we have, just because we're on a downtrend and we're starting to curl back up, to change the, the trend line here. AMC versus GameStop. Okay. Now, this is all we need to know, guys. Right here. Let's pull back this guy right there. And what does it show you, right? And this is, by the way, guys, this layout right here of GameStop. This is when it hit that the absolute bottom right here. It was this range. Let's go back real quick just to look at GameStop. So this was the range right here where it started. You can see that this would actually go with the POI in May, or I'm sorry, in March. We'd go with the POI in March, and then this is that bottom here before things start climbing back up. You can see that the POI starts, guys, as soon as you get that heavy volume start. That's when things started to change here for GameStop. But I believe AMC is doing it a little bit differently. Okay. So AMC is being suppressed more than what we saw before, because now we have a lot more, you know, people involved in something like this. So these guys are really trying to figure out a way to change what's happening, right? Yeah, a lot of ways you can kind of look at this, but I believe that this is what we're gonna get next, man. And again, this lines up with that POI that we have end of September. You know, when guys, when everything starts to just come together and you have day by day, and this is why I say this all the time. This isn't something where I'm predicting events happening. You know, like I'm telling you that we're gonna squeeze on this date or we're going to squeeze on this date or anything. No, I'm just showing you the likelihood based on the points of interest that have been playing out here. And they've all played out. All the major point of interest that we've tracked here in the cycle have all played out according to this, you know, this agenda that these guys have. So, you know, if we're coming next to this current one, we have everything here lining up to play out that way, then why, you know, what's going to stop them from doing that, right? Unless we got some kind of a inverse POI and we started to cross these levels very quickly and, you know, they take us back down to $6. I just don't see that happening, okay? So many things, guys, have changed here in the short term. We're starting to curl back up. I don't see how these guys can really do much here. I'm expecting a cycle break again, and we're going to get a very similar GameStop setup, potentially even run higher. Okay. No, I'm not the kind of person that will tell you that we're going to 1 million or anything like that. I think that's a stretch, but I do believe that based on everything that we've seen and that we believe, I do believe that a massive run would happen and would take place. And there would be, yeah, a lot of wealthy people coming out of this, right? All right, so one more thing I want to say, and this is going to involve the current option chain, all right? Because a lot of people, and I said this a week ago because I figured it's very important that people understand what's about to happen with the option chain. Okay, so the option chain is being adjusted right now, and it will change from AMC to AMC1, and there will be non-standard options for the APE dividend that's coming in. Okay, so there's going to be, I believe there's going to be 3 now, if I'm not mistaken, based on everything. So the current contracts get adjusted, then there's the APE non-standard contracts, and then we have the new chain opening up. So it doesn't quite need to happen this way, and I'm not going to get too into it because I don't believe that this is something that I'm trying to figure out or anything. Again, a cycle is put in place, and everything that comes out, guys, all this news, all these catalysts, fundamentals, all this shit, all right, it has to do with an agenda that's already put in place, all right? So I'm not going to get too into this, but all I'm going to say is if we are going to have a run here in the short term, it would kind of make sense with the current option chain being adjusted, because what happens now is that, and this is if things play out the way they're intended to, which is normally what happens with these options. Non-standard options are, they lack demand, so there's not enough buyers for these contracts, which means they become illiquid. So when there's a lack of a buyer on a certain chain here, what that does is it puts less stress or less strain on the shorts. And I know that sounds a bit weird, and again, this is why I'm not going to get too into it. But what would happen here in this case is that the options in the money would basically they would take a bit of a hit because there's not enough volatility in that chain. So if you have two chains and you have more volume on the other chain, the second chain, which is going to be the new one, then people are going to buy these contracts. They're not going to buy the ones that, you know, have the non-standard, right? The non-standard adjusted ones, because they just lack liquidity. That's just how it works. I've seen this happen with other stocks, and I'm not going to talk about why this happened or why I believe this happened. All I'm going to say is that this is an opportunity for the shorts to close out their positions, because I believe that the price of AMC is manipulated through the option chain. If AMC didn't have an option chain, then we would have squeezed already a long time ago. All right, we saw this happen with DWAC. We saw it happen with SOS. All of these stocks, guys, prior to having an option chain, they will run them. They'll create an option chain, and then they'll short the stock, because people will buy, you know, they'll buy as things are coming down and things are being pumped in the media. That's just the strategy these guys use. So basically what's going on here is that for a quick second, most stocks do have a new option chain that comes out the day after or the day of. So once that opens up, those will start at zero volume, at zero open interest, zero everything, okay? And those are the ones that people are going to start buying now. The other ones, there's going to be a lack of demand. Doesn't mean you can't sell them, and this is why I'm saying I'm not going to get too into it, because anything could happen here. But it doesn't mean you can't sell them. You can definitely exercise them, but there's a bit of a tricky thing with exercising them as well. I would recommend you guys go look into what happens with options and how the, you know, adjustment works. But typically the ones out of the money, anything out of the money, will take some kind of a hit because there's not enough volatility. So if you're trying to, you know, if you're one of those that does options and you're trying to get, you know, gain some kind of money from the volatility, which is it's a really good strategy, those do take a hit from volatility. All right. Alrighty, guys. So just based on everything I put out on the table, that is what I got, man. Again, I didn't want to make this video like extremely long or anything, because I don't want anybody watching this for 2 hours or anything like that. But all right, I'll answer some questions though. No, Ape won't have an option chain. No, it's a so yo talk about Tilray. Okay, hold up, man. Hold that, bro. Okay, look, Ape won't have an option chain, but it will be adjusted into the current option chain. All right, that's how it works with dividends. With dividends in the form of in this form it's an equity token or equity unit. I'm sorry, and that, you know, with stuff like this, you get it with like mergers, with spinoffs, stuff like that. You will have a different option chain. Splits as well, reverse splits. I believe you get one. I don't believe you get it with splits. You get it with reverse splits. And yeah, dude, it just kind of messes up the entire chain for a little bit until, you know, they expire. Go look at BBIG. Go look at BBIG and Tide. Go look at MMAT. Okay, it happened with them. Go look at GREE, support.com. It happened with them. There's a lot of stocks, guys, that this happened to. Yeah, again, I'll have to make a video at some point as to why stuff like this happens. Okay, because it is kind of a very weird thing, and it's not talked about as much. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. And I think, you know, a lot is going to, depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll definitely find out here what AMC is going to, what AMC is going to do next, right? If we start just like, you know, running, it would make a lot of sense as well if these guys just started to, you know, cover everything all at once because of the option chain, which again, I think that's a stretch. I don't think we're going to get anything like that. I'll pull this up one more time because this is the setup I have here for the next, the next couple of weeks. Based on everything I just covered, I do see us having a setup like this, all right? All right, let's see. I'll answer some questions here. Yeah, and if you guys want more info on like, because I do cover a lot of different stocks, guys, with POIs. AMC is not the only stock that has a POI at all. You know, I cover mainly the ones that are manipulated, that I believe are manipulated, and are in this sort of meme sector. These guys, as well as many others, I do cover on the Discord. So if you want more information on that, make sure you click the link below. It'll take you straight there. Okay, and I do talk about all these other stocks, right? But, you know, here we focus mainly on AMC, all right? We want to see what's going to happen here, man, with Amy. All right, we're going to see what's going to go down, and then you already know we're going to rally when the shit goes down. The POIs for this week are coming out in a little bit, man. They're coming out tonight. Every Sunday, man. Every Sunday night, we got a nice new fresh list based on the cycle, you know, the cycle analysis here in the entire market. That's how it goes. Okay, man. Alrighty. Oh, look at that. We did really good with time. Really good with time. Alrighty, guys. Alright. That will be it for today's video, man. Again, just wanted to do a very short video. Didn't want to overextend it. I think 30 minutes is perfect to cover everything here on the current squeeze scenario here. And I hope I covered everything. Other than that, guys, I will be live at some point this week. If you would like to join the Discord chat, which is very simple, very straightforward. I mean, there's a lot of good people in there, guys. It's free. You can join that. I just sent the link below. A lot of good people there, man. And I send updates and shit on there like all the time, man. All right, so yeah, I will see you guys this week, man. You guys have an awesome rest of your Sunday, and I love you, man. Bye-bye.